Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this week's segment of the Black Girl Inspire Her. I am your host, Sheniqua Inspires, and we are bringing forth inspiration for everybody. Like everybody gets to glean a little something from these conversations. We just so happen to be doing it from a Black girl's perspective. Today, I'm excited, as always, but we've got a favorite coming back. So I am bringing back my sister friend, Carol Pompey, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about change. So, hey, Carol, I know you were here before, but please tell everybody again who you are and what you are all about these days.
Okay, I'm Carol Pompey, as you know or you heard from the last video if you watched it. I uh I'm so many things, but I'm a CNA, I'm a CCMA as well, a clinical medical assistant, as well as I'm a health coach, and I'm a home health aide. Those are my present profession, as well as I'm a student in the nursing field. So that's
Awesome.
basically some of the hats I wear.
Yes, yes, yes. We love that. I think this platform is set for the multitaskers. Like we are always doing a number of things. But I think that leads to who we are and what it is that we do. And Carol, I have you back because for one, the first go round when we did your interview, for some reason there was like a technical sound issue that was going on, and it really disrupted my spirit. I did not like the fact that it was, I mean, we could still hear everything was going on, but the audio was just a little bit glitchy. So I said, I definitely needed to have you back so that people can hear you nice and clearly, exactly what it is that we're talking about. And I brought you back because apparently the people love what it is that you have to say. And I know why. I know it's because you have such a gentle spirit. It's almost like the calming, soothing, I want to say a grandma spirit, but I don't want you to think that I'm calling you old. But you have a very soothing, nurturing spirit, almost likened to someone's grandma or their auntie who's just loving up on them. So I know that the viewers were really receptive when you were here the last time. Last time you were talking about, or you spoke about a number of things, but we really honed in on the power of choice and what it means for us to be able to say what we're going to spend our time on. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned about that me time, that self-care moment in time where you sip your tea. And I got my tea today.
Yeah.
I'm sipping my tea today as a part of, refueling yourself and reading and meditating on the words that you're reading. And so we
Mhm.
were talking about the power that comes from when you make that decision to cater that moment in time for you. Now,
Mhm.
today I want to bring you, here specifically to bring forth some inspiration because you do inspire me, and I don't know if
Mhm.
you realize that you do inspire me. Um, and
Thank
for
you.
everyone who doesn't know, Carol is one who we started out together. I was her instructor. She is a
Uh-huh.
health coach, and I was her health coach instructor. So that started about, was that in 20? I think it was like in 2014 or so when
Mhm.
we met. And since then, Carol has always just been by my side. She's been in my corner. So when I do my speaking engagement, she goes with me as my assistant. So many of you may know her as being my assistant. Even and that started from when we were in the classroom when I was training towards the end of the health
Yes.
coach program. Carol was even able to. We kind of put a little pressure on the manager to allow Carol to come in and be my assistant. One, because she
Yes.
thrived in those health coaching skills so well, and so she's
Mhm.
always just been by my side. So I love being around Carol, and she does have that calming effect on me. So when I am going to a speaking engagement and I know Carol is there, I don't worry about nothing. Like I'm cool, I'm calm, collected, and so I wanted to make certain that you all just got a little bit of that because that is where we gain our inspiration, or at least one of the ways is by being around good people. And in
Mm.
Carol is the epitome of good people to me. So she's got to come back and she's going to talk to us a little bit. But Carol, I know before you gave us some testimony, but today I really just want to focus on inspiration. But I want to
Mm.
circle around change. So, was there ever, and it's like I asked the question, but I know the answer, right? Um, Tell us about a moment in time where you really struggled with change.
Okay. One that I could remember is they were like moving from one place to the next is one, but the most important one I could say that really had me, thinking more than one things or trying to figure out how society is going to think and even my own family is going to think of me.
Mhm,
I thought that, am I making the right decision or is it the right thing I am doing? The biggest change that I had to make is, or one of them is leaving the convent to get back into the real world.
mhm,
And that change means stepping out of a habit that were accustomed to, that you wake up, you live every day in, that was your dress code, and moving back into society where you get back in, I had to learn how to wear my clothes back again and feel
mhm,
comfortable in it. I had to get accustomed to putting back on my earrings, putting on simple thing like just a little lipstick. And
mhm,
even now I struggle with that because like my sister would always say, oh, we got to stop being like our mom, because my mom is simple. She doesn't like all those fancy things.
mhm,
So I had to learn how to be myself again and to do all those things for myself. And how, like, I was scared to step out in back into society and feel how they, like I felt that I didn't feel right in the beginning.
mhm,
And many times I struggle to see start thinking, what am I gonna wear? Should I wear this jeans this way, or should I wear it, a little loose, and that kind of thing.
mhm,
And for me, that was my biggest struggle, getting back into society and learning new things, even in terms of my education. I had to
mhm,
learn how to do things over and over again and pick up new skills along the way. What I could have done before, I had to now retrain myself. And coming coming to the United States was another thing. I had to learn new skills because I used to be the secretary for my boss. She's diplomat, and I coming from that background, that's what I know to do well. That's the skill. I could
mhm,
close my eyes and manage my fingers on that typewriter and fast as ever, the computer. So I had to learn new skills. And in the beginning, I said, why am I here in the first place? I could go back and have a good job, and
right.
rather than starting from, it's like I was starting from the low level coming all up. And I what I found now is, I could only say probably God wants me to do it this way because he has a plan for me that I don't know. But along the way, I use those skills to help others, not only myself. Yes, I help myself because I work in those skill settings, but I don't keep it to myself. That's what I found I do now. I just go with it. So those are
Yes.
some of the struggles I have, presently.
So let's redefine change. And I know people baseline, they understand what change is, but if you had to just give it in its simplest form, what is change? And then talk about why people struggle with change so much.
Um, what I would say change is one, it's learning something new, but in learning something new either for yourself or something that you can use to help others, it's sometimes it's taking a step back in order to move forward.
Mm,
And sometimes sometimes it's difficult for some of us to want to step back and to move forward when we think in ourselves that we know it all, or we think we know it all, and
mhm,
we don't want to go backward again. But sometimes we are called to step back, because when we
yes.
step back we have a clear vision of what the next
Mm,
step will be forward. So like it's like myself, I had to do that and it wasn't easy.
mhm,
It sometimes it make you feel like you don't, it gives me that sense sometimes that, oh, what am I stepping back for when I already have all these things that I could just go
mhm,
forward. But if you go forward with what you have, sometimes it's not the right
mm,
thing in going forward. You need something else to boost you or push you forward.
yes.
So I had to learn within myself to be able to step back to create that change that I need, or I want to use moving forward.
Now, I just got that great visual. Like when you just said that, I got this great vision of, you're doing well, you're striving, you've got a job, you've got like, and it appears as though you're doing well. They offer you the promotion on that job, and you're like, yes, I can do this. But sometimes when God starts us on a pathway, that pathway breaks out. Almost like the fork in the road. And if you stay on the course that you're already on, you literally may be coming up, even though it seems like you're increasing, you may literally run into a brick wall. And that's what I saw, like this brick wall, like you're going as far as you can on that pathway, and you literally hit up against a brick wall. And I think that's why a lot of people, they fear change, because they've just gotten so accustomed to banging on that brick wall. It's like when you first hit the brick wall, it hurts. But then if you've been doing it and you keep hitting it and keep hitting it, it's almost like you get accustomed to it. So you'd rather stay in that position and say there's no growth, and complain about the schedule and the bosses and the coworkers, rather than take that leap of faith and allow God to redirect your life in the direction in which He's trying to have you to go. And I loved how you said sometimes you've got to go backward, like you've got to pull back in order
Mhm.
to go forward. And that's when I saw that vision. Like I got like a literal visual of that, to say when you're hitting that brick wall and things are not progressing the way God intends, you may have to draw back some so that you now can get refocused, realigned, and get into position to go for the greater. Sure, you're doing good here, but if you
Mhm.
are bold enough to make that change, you just might become great, and then greater, and then you just may even excel. So I love that. And in case you all, and from the last time, I'm sure you remember, Carol is the author of the book Change of Habit. And this is
Mhm.
literally what she speaks about in that book. It's about having the faith, the commitment to God, like not even understanding all of the ways of God, but just knowing and trusting that He has a path for you.
Mhm.
that gets you to step outside of the norm. So yes, a habit, that word habit, we used it very, and I'm a publisher if you guys didn't know that, right? So we used it very liberally to mean, we were referencing her and her time being in the convent as a nun, but we were also talking about that habit, like that we all know and breathe and get into. It's that day-to-day life, it's that
Mhm.
grind, it's that, that comfort zone that we have grown so familiar with. So how do you get to a place where you're willing to break out of your comfort zone? So Carol, tell us a little bit more about what it feels like when someone is thinking, or they might even know, right? They might even be out of the thinking stage. It's like they know they need to change, but they're scared. What would you say to them?
Well, you can know that, and I can only talk for myself because I
Mhm,
am also in the process of making a change, but yet you have that feeling of scare. You're scared to make that
mhm,
change, and I can only stop and say, it's okay, Carol. It's okay to feel scared about making that change because you don't know about the other side, what it is going to be like. But for me, it's a risk I have to take to
mhm,
make that change. It's a big risk. It's like you don't know about the unknown, but you take that risk and hoping with the hope that it's going to be okay. And you can only know it's going to be okay when you're hand in hand with God to guide you.
yes.
He is the one is going to take me there where I want to go. Nobody else can take me there. He is the one
Mhm,
that I can stop and say, am I going the right way? Is this the right
mhm,
thing? Is it going to make a difference in someone else's life if I make that change? Is it going to be okay with me? It is. Once I'm ready, I can answer those questions and I come to that point where I'm ready to change, then I can move. And also what I find when in making a change is knowing that you have, like you say, you have an extra something in your pocket or in your bag, that when you make that change, you're okay. Or you can
mhm,
fall back on something that
mhm,
even if you make that change, like for me, I'm always thinking, if I make a change, what am I going to do? Do I have something that will take me through, like another skill set? If this doesn't work out, is that
mhm,
okay? And I say that for one thing, even though, like I say to some people, I am comfortable being who I am. It doesn't make me who I am, but it works for the moment that I can do it. So yes, I can go out and be comfortable being a home health aide in your
there
home
you go.
today. Tomorrow I can because tomorrow I know I can also be comfortable being a CCMA or a CNA,
Yes.
because what I do in that moment, and I do it well, it doesn't define who I am. And people will see that from the way you carry yourself. Like nobody knows, they don't even think I am their CNA. Probably now they're thinking I'm their health coach, because what
Mhm,
I find, my skills that I have, the other skills that I have, come into play when I'm in that environment, so I can use that. So sometimes when we're ready to make a change, I think you have to know where you're going, what you have, to use the skills or whatever
mhm.
you're gonna take to use to get to that next level. And trusting God that He's gonna be with you side by side, or trusting yourself foremost. And this is talking to myself too, because I'm in the process of trying to make a change, but
Yes.
yet I am, I have this feeling of, am I going to be good to when I get to that side? Is it going to
Hmm.
be okay? But sometimes, like, I have to tell myself, just like in my book, is stepping out of your comfort zone to
Hmm.
make that change. And sometimes we got to step out, even though we may fall, we got to step out to see what out there is like. Like I spoke in a book, when you get to that top, there's nothing as beautiful as what you will see. Just like in scripture too, when the three went up the mountain with Jesus, what they saw, they were transformed. But they
Hmm.
couldn't stay there. They had to come down now to the people. It's the same thing. When we get to that, when we make that change and get to that side, it's only then we can see what is there and the beauty of it, and how we can now function in that side there and help people in another way too. So that's how I try to look at it for myself, even though sometimes it requires a lot of patience. It requires taking a pause sometime to do something like
Hmm.
that change I'm making, the pause that I have made. Like, even though I'm studying, I took a pause to learn a skill, and then now I'm back on track. So it's like I have that new skill set, but I'm going forward in what I'm doing. So that's how sometimes we need to shift ourselves out of our comfort and learn something new. I look at it as refreshment. You refresh
Yes.
and you go forward again with the knowledge. But my thing is I do it not only for myself, because when I learn something, I learn it not only for myself, because I find myself in those skills that I can help someone else.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And
Now, go ahead.
yes, so that's what I do with my thing. I always fall into that. Maybe that's what God wants me to do. He puts me in those positions to learn it, so that I'm not only learning it for myself, because I could jump beyond it and go, but he said, no, take a pause and do this, because this is what
Yes.
I want you to do now. And it's just listening. In the beginning, I said, yes, I need to take a break to do something, but what was it? And this thing came up just like that. And I said, oh, I go for it. And I went for
Hmm.
it with in faith, finish it, and back on track. And I find I've been using the very thing that I just learned for myself, getting a lot of calls. How you do this? How can I get this done? Tell me about it.
Hmm.
And that's how I'm going over it with people. And I feel happy
Yes.
in doing that. I feel good that I can do it for someone, to help someone.
And sometimes we go through things not even for ourselves, but for other people. So God has literally used you to put you in a position to be able to now help other people. And someone watching your life, someone watching your journey might say, well, wait a second, Carol, I thought you were en route to be a registered nurse. Like I thought you wanted to be a nurse. What are you over here taking this and taking, becoming a medical assistant? What are you over here, getting a certified nursing assistant's license? And it may not make sense for everyone. And here's the beauty of it: when God preordains a pathway, the journey that I took is not the same journey that he is giving you to take, even though the end result may be the same thing. So, for example, when I went to do my nursing, I went straight. After becoming a CNA in high school, I got that through a vocational high school. When I started college, I immediately went into the nursing program. It was a 4-year program. Some people say do 2 years, right? They start out with the LPN, or they do, the associate's degree nurse. People have different journeys. So the beautiful part about this is that you are focused on your unique, your individualized journey to the place that God has called you to do, and you're able to help others along the way. Now, I did want to make certain that I said this. because I know you were speaking to the people and you were saying what people normally say to themselves. So you were saying you say it, and I know people, because I've said it to myself. Am I going to be good enough? Is this going to work? Are people going to be receptive of me? Right? You are a stellar. Okay, I'm going to say it. You are a stellar home health aide. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm being biased or that I'm saying something that's not true, like I'm trying to gas her up. Nope. She's stellar, and she works for the largest nonprofit home health care agency in the country, not just here in New York, but it's in the entire company, in the entire country. And they say she's stellar. She's won awards. She's received accolades. So she is stellar at being a home health aide. But I want to make certain that I tell you personally and publicly that you are a stellar home health aide, and it has nothing to do about the job that you do. So it doesn't matter if you're at the largest home care agency. It doesn't matter if you were sitting in McDonald's. You are a stellar individual. You are a stellar child of God. And you will literally just transfer that stellarness. I don't even know if that's a real word, but you take that excellence that God has crafted in you and you will apply it to each and every area of your life. Like, I'm certain that you are stellar none. I know for a fact, I can attest to you being a stellar home health aide. I know for a fact that you are a stellar health coach because I trained you. That's not being cocky. It's just being confident in what I know. So I know that you will be a stellar nursing assistant. You will be a stellar medical assistant. You will be a stellar nurse, whether it's a 2 year, 4 year, six, whatever. You are going to be stellar and I'm using that word stellar because God is making me use that word constantly. You will be stellar in every single thing that you do. And it's just a matter of you being confident in the fact that God has you to make that change. And so I say that to you, Carol, but I'm also speaking that life into anybody who's watching. Stop associating your greatness to a position or to a title. I'm a great mom. No, you're a great person. And you just so happen to then it manifests as you being a great mom. So I want you to disassociate from the titles and focus on what God is saying about you, and use that as your fuel, as your stimulus to make certain that you are being acceptant and willing to change. So I know this is a big leap of faith for you, Carol, trying something new. And another thing that popped into my spirit is I'm gonna tell you, and it just so happens we recording at this moment. But if it were just you and I talking, I would tell you this, and we cast and bind the spirit of the enemy trying to watch and block anything that I'm about to say and release to my friend. So we want to watch those imps and demons that think they're going to try to disrupt something. But what I'm hearing is that you are a teacher, right? We know God gives us the spiritual gifts. You know, we have the apostle, the pastors. You are the teacher. And where it is that you love to sit under me and gleam and gain, when I was in the classroom and you became my assistant, that's because you are the teacher. That is one of your, I believe, is one of your spiritual gifts, that you are the teacher. And I see you teaching the home health aides, the nursing assistants, the medical assistants, and dare I say, even the nurses. So, but that's going to require a change. That's going to require you letting go of the familiar, like you said, taking a step back so that you're able to now go forward. So I love that. And I am excited as to what that means in your life. Carol, tell us, just give us some more words of inspiration, if you will, for people who might still be on this fence. They're like, oh, that's good for Carol, good for her to make, she's making the change, but they're still not wholeheartedly convinced. You have any other words of inspiration for them?
I can say never be afraid to take a risk, like I have taken in many, many areas, risks that I didn't even know I could take. And that being the first one, I never knew I could live with among people and pray. I went into a whole new place
Mhm.
I that was the biggest risk I could have taken, but I came out victorious,
Yes.
in the sense, as one of your speakers spoke early on, in the week, about being the expert in that area. I i i know I'm an expert in a lot of things because I took the risk. So what I'm saying is not to be afraid to take a risk. It doesn't matter what it is, because
Mhm.
in the end, you still can come out victorious in whatever you step into. And you can not only help yourself, but you can help others when you take risks.
Yes.
Because sometimes we think taking risks could be bad, but it's never bad. You always learn something when you take risks.
Mhm.
Even sometimes in taking the risk, it doesn't work out the way you might think. When you look back at it, you take a good look at it, it can help someone else. It might not be okay for you, but you talk about it to someone else and they're going to say, oh my God, you helped me there. You didn't know you helped
Mhm.
me. So sometimes when we go through whatever situation it is and take that kind of risk in our lives, it's sometimes it's a lesson for someone else, not ourselves.
Yes.
And sometimes it's going to be both for us and for someone else. So
Mhm.
like for myself, when you take risk, you learn something in the process, and you can learn something to help others, like I have done in many, areas. And I try to do it. I'm kind of person that I'm stepping out of that. I can inspire somebody to change from what I have learned. Even
Mhm.
when I read my scripture and I go somewhere, I can say something and it will change someone's day, or I can teach them what I have learned, because I don't like to keep it to myself if it's gonna help someone else. And that's what I do. It's just like I was talking just briefly. I was talking when I was in, they give me this typing to do, and I said, what am I gonna do? I have typing in advanced level in London and Caribbean, and why they giving me this to do? But when I went to the college, and that was one of the things I had to do, even though I didn't like it, I used to be typing. I said, what am I typing this for? What am I typing? And I'm talking to the people, and they said, but you typing it, but you're not watching the screen. I said, no, because I know what I know what to type. Then I ended up, I remember in that library where we were doing it, and I like 15 lessons ahead of my other students, and they were just like at a third. You know what I say? I just say, just step, let me help you. And
Mm.
I went through with you and I help you type it up fast to reach at least 10 lessons. And I go to the next desk and I help the other person because I was good. I knew as the speaker said, you know when you're an expert in it.
Mhm.
And I felt that I was so good at it that I want to help you. And I bring them up to speed where I almost was, and they can continue. And so I know it would have helped somebody. So I'm saying it's not like you can do something, you take the risk, but you didn't like it. Like I didn't like that. That wasn't my
Mhm.
thing, but I saw it came in handy, so I can help someone. Even though I didn't like it, probably God placed me there to say, okay, you know how to type fast.
Yeah.
because I used to type almost 100 words per minute. So you know how to type fast. So you can bring my people up to standard so you can all achieve your goals. And sometimes that can happen in our lives when we make those we take those risks. It's not sometimes for
Hmm.
ourselves, but to help others to bring another sister forward as well, or another brother, bring them up together so we can all be on the same level of whatever we're trying to achieve in life.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the reference that you're making about being an expert, that was from the series before, The Black Girl Motivate Her. And Akila Tompkins Robinson, my sorority
Yes.
sister, she was sharing those nuggets, and she literally gave us practical examples to show that we are experts in us, right? We know what we know. So I'm grateful to hear that. And I just smiled internally when I heard you say that, because you're gleaming something. You're gleaming something from these series, and I hope that everyone is doing the same. So if they're watching this episode with you, that they will go and check out the other episodes that we have, whether it's from the Black Girl Encourage Her series or the Black Girl Motivate Her series, and in even this the Black Girl Inspire Her series, because there are so many nuggets that are
Hmm.
there for you. And I believe that if people sit and listen and sit and listen and sit and listen, even if you're watching it again and again and again, the more you hear it, the more it becomes a part of your daily practice and your daily thinking. And then change is not so scary. We know change is scary, right? Change is scary for everyone. And I do believe for myself that I've been in a season of scary. That's what I call it. I call it my season of scary, where I'm doing things, but it's because they're big things. So if you're faced with a decision and it's not scaring you at some degree, that means it's not that much of a risk, right? There's no real risk in it, whether I choose the white bread or the wheat bread. I mean, this is not going to make or break eternity. But when you are feeling like you are super scared, or you just got anxiety over something. Well, if you have anxiety, it's because you're not trusting God. But if you're scared, if it scares you, that means that's the thing. So I always challenge people to go after something scary. What's that leap that's going to make you just woo all over? So go big or stay small. So I am so excited that you are here with us, Carol. Listen, I want to make certain that everybody knows how they can connect with you. Carol is on Instagram, and you can check her out. She's also on Facebook. You can check her out on Facebook as well. Carol's got some big things going on in her life. We're going to put the link to her book, Change of Habit. If you haven't gotten it already, I don't know what you're waiting for. So you'll have the link in the description box. Make sure you check out the description box. You'll get that link, and you'll be able to click on it so that you can go grab a copy of her book, Change of Habit. And you got to get up to speed and be ready, because when the next one comes, you got to be up to speed as to who she is and why she does what she does. So that way you'll greatly and enjoy the second one, which I know is coming. I'm not going to put no pressure on her, but I know it should be coming soon.
Hmm.
Carol, again, I say thank you. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my sister in Christ. Thank you for being a source of inspiration for me and to me, so that I can continue to do the things that I do. All
Thank you
right.
too. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. That was good, good, good. As always, I hope you all have enjoyed this week's segment of the Black Girl Inspire Her, where we're bringing forth the inspiration for everybody We just so happen to be doing it from a Black girl's perspective. So while you all are on my page, make certain that you are checking out the other series, The Black Girl Encourage Her, The Black Girl Motivate Her, and be certain to check out all of the episodes in this series, The Black Girl Inspire Her. And listen, my podcast, Sisterly Sundays podcast, is there as well. So I want you to go on and check out those words of encouragement and motivation to get you through your week. We got to keep this as a constant. That's the only way we're going to be strengthened enough to go forward with our change. All right, everyone. Until next time, I'll talk to you all again soon. God bless.